Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, welcome to BAScii Showcase. We're getting ready to start. We have a 1 minute before we officially are to launch our today's event, BAScii Showcase 2021. So while we're waiting for a few more people to join our live stream, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ms. Daria Dmitrieva, and I work as an International Affairs Officer here at the school. I will be your moderator for today. I will be inviting our speakers to talk and give their presentations, as well as chatting with the students who will be joining us in a bit to share with you their experiences of being in BAScii. So I think we can start off with the first part of our event today. We decided to start off with something a little bit more engaging and a little bit more fun. So we'll be playing a trivia game with you today. I hope you've researched our school a little bit and know a little bit about us so that you can answer the questions we'll be posting to you. And we do have some prizes for the most active participants today. So not only will we give the prizes for those who participate in the next game, but also those who actively ask us questions on the live streams, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. So please participate and win the prizes. We're very excited to have everyone engaging today and asking questions, because we wanted to make it more than just a presentation and instead do a real showcase of our program, speak to the students, speak to the faculty, staff. So I think without further ado, let me introduce our co-host of the trivia game, which is Inside Sci. It's Dr. Pagjira Lilepan, and she's our Director of Administrative Services, Administrative Affairs, and she'll be the one hosting the next game. So please welcome on the live stream, Dr. Pagjira. Are you here? I cannot see you yet. Okay.
I'm here. Thank you, Daria. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here just for the fun. So, are you ready to answer the questions and win the prizes? So, we have altogether 8 questions. Shall we? Okay, let me share the screen with everyone.
So I think it's important to mention that we'll be playing in Kahoot. I think with the new normal of online education, everyone is familiar of the website, and I'm sure that you've played games in the school in this system. So it's a Kahoot. Please go ahead and enter the PIN, join the game.
Yeah.
Also, when you register, use your real name so that afterwards we can make sure that we send the prizes to the right people. So join in. We'll be waiting for the players to go into the game.
Okay.
Make sure you use your real names as you do.
So
I
we
don't
are
want.
still waiting for the players. Okay,
Okay.
we got one. Wow.
We get very excited for you guys to participate.
Wow, a lot more coming.
We'll wait a few more. Just so that you know, as you're playing the game, make sure that you use your real name. And then if you get to the first, I think it's top 8 people in the game, make sure you screenshot the last slide from your computer
Yeah.
and then send us an email and we'll share the email to you afterwards. So those are the top 8 people in today's game will receive prizes from us. So make sure you participate and answer questions. And if by any chance you don't get to the top 8, you still have a chance to win prizes by asking really smart questions. Well, actually, there's no such thing as not smart questions. So go ahead, ask any throughout the event. How are you feeling today, Dr. Pajura? Are you excited?
Very much. So we got 10 something so far.
You will make Dr. Pajura extremely happy if you join the game. We worked really
Yeah.
hard to make sure that today's event is more engaging and exciting for you.
So shall we start? Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Let's wait a few more minutes. Like,
Okay.
let's wait maybe 1 minute and we start at 1:35. We lost a player, so perhaps didn't want to wait
Okay.
1 minute.
Stay with us. Wow, wow, wow. Now
Okay.
they are
So
joining.
also, if you're on the live stream and you think that you know your friends or somebody who is interested in BAScii program, share with them the live stream so that they can also follow along and hear more and learn more about the program. Okay, so can we get to 15 players? Come on, 2 more people and then we start the game. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead. Let's start.
Okay.
We have 15. So,
Okay.
everyone ready? First question.
Okay. So we start with the first question. Doo-doo.
Okay, this is stressful.
I'm excited myself. So the first question is, what is the correct way of saying these 6 letters?
Yeah, so the answers are tricky. It's BAScii, 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 or BAScii. I think if you've been following our program, our videos, you know how to pronounce it, but it's tricky. Many people make mistakes. Okay, it was a
Wow.
tricky one. Is that the right answer, Dr.
Yeah,
Pajura?
yeah. Yes, so we got the answer, like 8 people got the answer right. And but don't worry for those who got the answer wrong, because a lot of people do, right, mispronounce it all the time. So Daria, how do we pronounce our program of study actually?
Yeah, so it's tricky. And like you mentioned, many people mispronounce it, but it's pronounced BAScii. So it's one single word basically, which stands for Bachelor of Arts and Science and Integrated Innovation. So next time you speak to us or you talk about BAScii, you know how to pronounce it. It's BAScii. Tricky question though. Should we go to the next one?
Okay, let's go to the next question. Oh wow, we got
Good job,
good
Barbie.
job.
I like your name if it's the actual name.
So this is the second one. What does SCI stand for? School of International Idol, School of International Innovation, School of Integrated Ideas, or School of Integrated Innovation. So take your time.
You don't have much time, but
Still.
okay. The faster you answer the question, the more points you also get. Wow.
Oh, wow. So the majority got the answer right. Mm-hmm.
So exactly, School of Integrated Innovation is the name of our school. And I think it's very important to understand the part that is integrated innovation. So BASA is more about transdisciplinary
Mm.
education, meaning merging disciplines and trying to approach projects through multiple points of view. Later on in this event, we'll have Dr. Lisa Canny. She'll be presenting her view on why we need transdisciplinary education in BASI. So stay tuned for her speaking later on in this event. So, you ready for the next one?
Okay, next one. Bobby is still.
Good
Maybe
job.
she's our true fan club, though. Okay, let's move to the next one. How many nationalities of students do we have now? Nine, eight, seven, or six?
I assume this is really a guessing game for many people. It's not really easy to know. I just give you a little clue that we are quite
Mhm.
international already. So think of us in a positive way in this question. But it's a little bit of a guessing game.
Okay, thumbs up. So actually, yeah, the majority still got the question right. Like five people. Yes, the answer is nine. Even our school is 3 years old, but we have nine nationalities. They are from America, some are from China, Taiwanese, British, Malaysian, Singaporean, Australian, Japanese, and Indian.
Yes, we surely do have quite a few students already from outside of
Mhm.
Thailand. We also are very proud of having faculty from outside of Thailand. So you can say that Basa is truly international. I was trying to give you a hint. Think good about us. We have 9 out of the answers that you have on the screen. So we try to really be accommodating to all our students, especially international ones who require sometimes extra help with integrating and being able to live here fully in Thailand. So we have staff, faculty, and other
Mhm.
students as well are very welcoming to any newcomers. So if you are an international student coming in next year, you'll be very welcome here by everyone. As well as if you're a Thai student, we also welcome you here. We're
Yes.
welcome to everyone. So hopefully we get even more nationalities next year. So let's go ahead.
Okay. So let's move to the next question. Dum dum. Bobby is still on.
Mint is on fire though.
Yeah. Okay. This question will be a bit difficult, but not too difficult. What are the specializations or core majors that SCI provide to our students? There are four specializations, but what they are? What
Yeah, I
are
think
they?
we've
Okay.
received a lot of questions about specializations. So just to give you an understanding a little bit while you're answering the question, is that specializations are not so much majors or minors like American universities have. It's more so a direction and the clusters of subjects that students can take since year two to go into different specializations and help their project develop within those specializations. So out on the screen, you have lists, and only one is correct with four of our specializations, meaning the directions in which a lot of our startup projects will be going to. So I hope you know the answer. Yay!
Yeah. Wow. 13 of them got it
People know us
right.
very well.
Yeah. So for the four specializations, I believe, you can choose more than one and it will start from the second year. Your choice will depend on your interest and the innovation projects that you will develop. And if you want to explore more about, specialization, stay with us until the end because we have a student sharing experience session later on. Okay. So shall we move to the next question, Daria?
Yes, please. Let's go ahead.
Okay. Ah, wow, Mint is
Oh,
we gonna.
Wow, Barbie, keep it up.
Yeah.
Mint, good job, everyone. Okay,
Okay.
let's go next question.
Which of the following universities BAScii is not a partner with? UC Berkeley, McGill University, Kyushu University, or RTH Royal Institute of Technology? Which one is not our partner?
Yeah, so as you may or may not know, our students in year three are encouraged to have experience abroad. We got a lot of questions about the exchange semester, so I think everyone is really excited for the opportunity. So in this list here, we have three of the partners with BAScii and one not a partner. So choose the one that is not a partner for BAScii, and we'll
Mm,
explain a bit more about why and what's behind it. So
okay.
okay. Well, most of people thought that it was actually a Swedish university that we are not partner with.
Mm, we are working on it. Royal, the KTH is now our partner. Yeah, congratulations. And, when you apply for a semester abroad, we have a lot of partners and you will get access to a large network beyond BAScii. For example, now, even we don't have a direct partnership yet with McGill, but this university is in July network and you can technically go. Yeah. So, and our
Yeah.
network is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's a very important part of a student experience to be going abroad, and there's a lot of opportunities, including the semester. You will hear later on from two of our students who are going to UC Berkeley, which many students coming to BAScii are very excited about. So you'll hear from them. I just wanted to mention also we have Dr. Ronnie here with us in the trivia game. He is coming in because the next few questions are going to be about student projects. And Dr. Ronnie is the person who grooms and helps the student with their projects. And he's our project seat coordinator, sustainable development expert, all in one. So hello, Dr. Ronnie. Thanks for being here.
Hi, how are you?
Very
Good.
well.
So let's move to the next question. I think this is when we
Okay.
go for
So,
projects.
Dr. Ronagon, you ready, right? Yay! Mint is now on the top list. Okay. How many students' innovation projects have been commercialized so far? One, two, three, or four?
Yes, it's very, I think a student project is what differentiates BASI from a lot of other programs because those are real life projects are happening throughout 4 years of their studies. Dr. Ronnie, can you tell us a little bit more about the three projects that are here that are commercialized already?
Okay, so we have the
Don't tell
total
the
of
names because this is the next question. Don't tell their
okay, sure,
names.
sure.
Just
We
a
have the
little bit
total
about the commercial.
totally we have around 65 projects so far for the second and third year student, and we're about to have another 25 from the first year student. So out of that, three has been already commercialized and earned some cash. And some of them got over 1 million baht of fund from government entities and others private fund already. So very promising.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. So, shall we move to the next one? Ta-da!
Barbie and Mint are fighting for that first
Yeah.
place. Good job, guys. Okay, next up.
Okay. What are the students' innovation projects that have been commercialized? Look
If
at the name and give us the answer.
If you have followed the news from our school, you might have seen the names of some of these projects. We are very proud of, and we try to promote as much as we can, and we're very proud of the achievements of our students. I think a lot of times we publish about the student projects, which are the project seed, but also about competitions that students participate in and take prizes. It's really exciting to see them, get those wins, get those awards. It's something that makes our school extremely proud. Okay, does anyone know the names? Let's see.
Tough
If
question,
people,
yeah.
Yeah, tough question. Oh wow! But actually, see, they got it. I mean, the majority got it right.
maybe it's
Nice.
our own students, maybe it's the co-founders of those commercialized startup projects answering. So, Pirani, could you tell us a little bit more about the SOPAD, Fabrics, and Max?
Sure. Those three are all digital platforms, right? SOS focus on how to match a pet owner with the vet, so they can easily check their pet, disease, and check update, and deliver medicines to their house. Quite convenient. For Fabric is the matching platform to match a clothes designer with the customer, and as well as the factory who can do the clothing. So it can be up to 1 pieces to 1,000 pieces. For Max is the digital trading cryptocurrency platform. It's very hot topics now, and I think they have they have collect over 1 million of baht of the investor so far. I think their second version is launching in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned.
Great.
Okay. Thank you. Dr. Ronagon, stay with us first because the last question, stay with us for the last question because
Okay.
actually he's the one who wants this question to be asked here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, let's go. Let's move
I
to
can do
the
that.
last question. Yeah. Oh, Bobby. Who will be BAScii next innovator?
Okay. People are excited because they know that they are the ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got all the participant answer the question. So let's go ahead and see who is the top of our achievers.
Okay. I think everyone got the answer right. So shall I? Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So yes, we hope you are the one who is going to be BAScii next innovator. So let's see the scoreboard. Let's have a look. Who is the one who got the prizes that we can send to?
Okay.
Okay, Suvir is number 3, Prima number 2, and number 1 is the drop.
Bobby.
Barbie. Okay, well done. So we also have runner-ups. Can we see all of our table score for all the people participants?
I
All
think
8.
I will need to leave this page, but maybe I do it later. Okay, so okay.
Okay, so
yeah, they are this like report later, but I need to leave this page to get into the report page. Okay.
okay, so how do we know the first 8 students who get the prizes? We have 3 here. So we have Barbie, we have Prima, we have Suvir. So you guys 3 for sure, if possible, screenshot the page that you have, and then email to us at sai.admin@chulaac.th. So this is our email. If you could email us your full name, then the screenshot of the page, the name you used here, so Barbie, Prima, and Suvir, and we'll be able to send you the prizes. So to claim them, you have to email to us. Okay, and then for the others, I think we'll figure out the way of, telling you who you are and then sending you the emails. Does it? Okay.
I think that's the end of my session. So I hope everyone enjoy the session and get to know more about our school. Okay, so hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Dr. Ronnie. Thank you, Dr. Pagjara, for being here. I hope you guys had fun and you learned a little bit about our program. So let's go ahead to our next session without further ado, because we have exciting part where a lot of good questions about the student life. So we have Life of BAScii, and let me invite Kun here, and he is not only our year two student, he's now acting president of student council. So please welcome him here with us, and we have a few questions to ask him about his experience in BAScii. Hi, Kun.
Hi Daria, it's nice seeing you, and yeah, I'm excited to answer all your questions.
I have plenty. I think we got so many excited about the program. And so let's start with BAScii overview. By the way, I hope that everyone who's joining us here today have watched the videos we've posted about BAScii overview and admission process, where Dr. Warinya, who's our program director for BAScii, have shared uh, what is it like to apply to BAScii first of all, and then what is the structure of BAScii. So I hope people who are joining our stream know a little bit already. So our conversation with you today will go a little bit more in detail. So can you explain a little bit of what is it that BAScii students actually learn? So what constitutes your curriculum
Mm,
as of so far?
yeah, sure. So I think what BASA is made of is like a core, a subject. There is a project seed where you would develop your own startup. You will learn all about how to do a startup, and the key about project seed is that they want you to fail there, because if you go and do your own startup, if you fail and you face the all kind of problem, it's gonna hurt you a lot, both financially and time. So, but in BASA, they create like a sandbox for you to learn and fail and learn from it without taking the consequence that you would do in the real world. And other than that, we also learn other subjects that would help us with our project C, which is we're going to learn about core business and core technology. And also we have the fourth specialization that you learned in the Kahoot earlier, which is health and well-being, smart city, sustainable development, and AI. And yeah, all of them are wonderful subjects, and you're not limited to pick one. You can pick all four of them if you want to. And yeah, you can mix match the skills that you would like to learn, and yeah, to help you with your own startup. And that's the gist of it, I guess.
Okay, so you're now year two. So you've started with specializations. Which is the subject that you're currently taking from specialization?
From specialization, I'm currently taking health and well-being and sustainable development. Yes, and for health and well-being, I do food and drug technology, and for sustainable development, I pick socioeconomy. So yeah, I'm really interested in like social enterprise, and also like anything related to sustainability and how to make the environment and the social improve. And yeah, and I also take the health and well-being because I'm interested in how could food tech do, and also different effects of kind of drugs and the technology around it. So yeah, I just take kind of subjects I am interested in.
Great. So just to, go back to when you were deciding where to study, could I ask you what is it that attracted you in BAScii program? Why have you decided to apply to BAScii specifically?
So yeah, I guess I just want to try to learn something new, because I've been studying abroad in New Zealand for like 3 years before, and when I came back to Thailand, I'm just thinking, wait, what uni am I want to do? I could go the plain old BBA route, but I think like maybe the curricula is not like robust, it's not new enough. And then I heard about BASA, and I think, oh wait, there's only 1 year, and I'm gonna be the second year of the BASA batch, and it's really special to me. And when I see like the course like merging between arts, both art and science, I feel like it's really like interesting thing, because I never seen something like that before. Somebody would tell you, yo, you either have to go to art or you have to either go to science. But BASA give you that flexibility. They give you that choice to do both and find out what you really want. because if you ask me honestly, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do in the future. And yeah, BAScii just give me that flexibility that I need, and that's why I choose to come to BAScii.
I think you're right. So many students, even after graduating high school, are so unaware of what they want to do. So BAScii is a nice testing ground where you can experience quite a few things before really making up your mind about what is it that you want to do in the future. We had a really interesting question saying that if I want to follow the computer science route, but I like innovation, is BAScii a good fit for me? And I think, I don't know if you agree, but it seems like it is, because here you can experience the computer science, but also figure out if the innovation that you can go for, it's a good testing platform. So apart from classes, we also got questions whether BAScii students do anything else, and are they struggling, or do they have time for activities? What is it that going on in your life apart from classrooms, virtual ones
Uh,
for now?
yeah. So the obvious choice there's the student council, and yeah, and there's also various club. So as you know, if you're in Chulalongkorn University, there is other club you could join. There's all kind of after class club that you could apply for, and you're not limited to just a club in BAScii. In BAScii right now, I think there is a Sci Smile Club, which they're doing like a charity and all kind of activities to help the kids with the disease. But also, like if you're not into that, there's also, as I told you, student council. We're working on various activity inside the faculty. But like other than that, I really recommend you to go for case competitions. That's very popular with BAScii students. Since we work with a lot of startups, so we're building our own startup. It's a good idea to try to apply for these competitions, so that we would know if we're gonna do well or not. Or sometimes you might earn a prize, and it's good for your portfolio, and you would learn something from it. And that's really recommended. And in a way of, do you have time? Well, it depends on like your time management skill, and like how diligent are you, or if you're that active. Like, but I recommend you to try a lot of activity, do a lot of things, sports. If it were not for COVID-19, we have Intergame, Freshie Game. We have tons of sport events that we want to set up, and also like the council would like to set a lot of sport events for our faculty too. But like since COVID-19, we haven't done that. But if the next semester or the next year, we're able to go on site, I'm sure that it's gonna be a highlight for BAScii.
Hey, sounds exciting. I do hope that we get back to relative normal and have activities face to face. We haven't seen our students for so long. It's been too long. Okay. And I think a lot of people also ask, I keep saying that, but we got a lot of questions about life in BAScii, so you are the one on the spot for this. Do you have any recommendations on how to survive university? You mentioned, keep staying active, but I also know that BASI has a lot of workload for projects. Any tips and tricks on how to survive it as a student, as a freshie next year?
Well, I don't want to sound out as scary, but when you go in your first year, first semester, please do a lot of things and enjoy life as a university student as much as possible, because later on in the year you won't have much time because of a lot of workload and stuff. But in case of surviving the university, is like I told you, is like, so if you just graduate from high school, I don't know, like different high school have like different kind of workload, right? But from my experience, I can tell that university, it gives you more flexibility, but it also make you have to be more responsible to your own work, because like professors not gonna go and tell you, hey, you not didn't turn in this work. If you miss the deadline, it's gone. They did not pressure gonna talk to you about it. You just lose that mark. So I recommend something like, uh, can I say this? Like Google Calendar will get sued from Google. No, right? So like, yeah, use like
We
Google
don't.
Calendar, and use all kind of like like application that help you plan out all your work. This gonna work with all the homework, and also the, if you have like case competition or you have other activities to do, you can book out like your timetable, and you're gonna have a lot of group meeting. So you have to always find a time that's best for all kind of group activity you do, because you don't want the group meeting to be at the same time, and you have that awkward like pause, like, oh wait, what am I gonna do now? I have like two group meeting, right? So yeah, Google Calendar, or use the Microsoft Teams good too, because most of our learning platform is on Microsoft Team because we're online. But yeah, try to manage your time well, and yeah, enjoy your first semester as much as possible, because that's the most time you can have. And I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, I hope from this people who are coming in next year or students who are want to apply next year will remember time management, learn how to work in groups. Very important. As you mentioned, and I heard almost every single week you have group project of some kind. You work with different people, so if you're not good at working with people, you have to, swallow it and learn because it's very important and something that we have to do every single day afterwards, as well as after university. You work with people, so learn how to work with people, and time management is key. And enjoying your first year, first semester, apparently, because
Yes.
then it's only going worse. Okay, good to know. I hope that people who are coming in next year will remember that and make sure that they do enjoy it. All right. So before I let you go, I wanted to ask you one last thing. You're going to be able to go to the next exchange semester in year three. Have you thought about where you would want to go or any ideas? What do you want to experience?
Oh, so yeah, I thought a lot about that, and I would love to take a summer tea if I were able to be selected for it. I'm looking at like various university, but like for now, I want to go to UC Berkeley, because come on, who doesn't want to go to UC Berkeley, right? and uh
Yeah.
and like I'm to be honest, I'm not that picky. So if I'm probably gonna try if I can. I'm not sure about this, but I'll try apply for all, because I think it's a good like opportunity for anyone, because even though I've been studying abroad before, but I think university is a really different thing, and I'm really excited to try everything out. So yeah, my goal is now set on UC Berkeley. If I'm lucky, then maybe I'll get to go after my year three senior students. Like they're gonna go next semester, and I ask them how it goes. And yeah, I'm quite positive about this and excited.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, I wish you good luck in that process, although it's a little bit further down the road, but still. And that's great because it's leading up to the next session we have with our two students who are actually going to UC Berkeley, as you mentioned. And so next up, they will share what their expectation and experience so far. So, Kun, thank you so much for coming in. If you guys have, whoever is watching us live, if you guys have questions to Kun specifically, leave them in the comments below, and if anything, we'll bring him back again next time for Q&A specifically on your questions. So, Kun, thank you so much for helping out and sharing your experiences.
I'm happy to help, Daria. Yeah, have a good rest of the live stream. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
So as I mentioned, next up, let's bring in Sudev and Prem. I'm sure they're sitting and waiting for coming in here and telling us a little bit more, and they're excited to go. Next semester is their year three semester two, where they will be able to go to UC Berkeley for their semester abroad exchange for startup semester. So let's bring in both of them, and we can ask them some questions about their experiences so far and expectations. Hi Prim, hi Sudev, how are you?
Hello. I'm good.
Hi, Daria.
Okay,
Yeah,
Nice to be
so
I'm good
here.
too. What about you?
this is, yeah, I'm great. I'm excited. So this is Letters from Abroad, Berkeley edition, because these two students, among several more, are going to UC Berkeley next semester. So I wanted to ask you guys, and I think we can start with Prim for this one. I know Berkeley is extremely exciting to go to, but what was that about UC Berkeley specifically that made you want to go to that place for exchange next year, next semester?
First of all, I would say it's about time. Each semester we have a different university to choose, right? And my prefer is UC Berkeley because it's offer the field that I'm interested in, and is a good university where everyone is looking forward for it, right? And also the country is in the US, where I have been there before and I feel comfortable living there, so I'm looking forward to like live there again. Yeah.
Okay, so then how about you? What was it about Berkeley specifically that made you want to go there next semester?
For me, it was probably the curriculum in Berkeley that we were going to study. So we are actually going to Berkeley to study at their SCET startup semester. So in there, basically, they'll teach us skills, mindsets, and behaviors of successful entrepreneurs. And we'll learn from their faculty members and Silicon Valley experts on how to build a successful startup and learn about innovations and all. So that was the main key part which encouraged me to apply for Berkeley.
Sounds fun. I also heard that you guys had an opportunity beforehand to have participated in SCET Startup Clinic. So, what do you know what this was all about, and what is it that students have an opportunity to do with Berkeley before even going there?
Yeah, so their SCET startup clinic is basically, so if you're year two and year three student, and if you have a startup idea which you think solves a pain point which is gonna have a social impact, then you can actually apply for a startup clinic and you can get feedback and mentorship from the Berkeley members there. And if they really like your idea, they can actually fund your project as well and continue the mentorship onwards.
Wow, that seems like a good opportunity. Sounds
Yeah,
exciting. So, So, in terms of applying for an exchange, we had some questions of how the whole thing works. So, Prim, could you tell us a bit more of how was it the process of application and getting to go to Berkeley?
Yes, first of all, you have to meet the criteria from BAScii. It's about like the GPA, GPAX, and also for IELTS score, and also like personal document like a valid passport and some more details on that. But to be honest, it have to be like meet the criteria of BAScii, and then we have to interview with the UCB again to get passed in. And I think we have the quota from BAScii, I guess, but I'm not sure about the number, yes, because I think it's update every year, and also the GPA thing is update every year as well. So it depends on the year that you go. So you have to like recheck again on that. And when you got interview with UCB, if you got accepted, they will send you the invitation link, and then you can process the visa and so on. Yep.
It sounds like a complicated process, but I'm sure it's gonna worth it. Interviewing with Vasa and then Berkeley again. Okay, so while you
yeah.
go there, you mentioned you're gonna go for like a startup semester. Does it mean that you'll be able to work on startup projects, and will be those projects from Berkeley, or would you continue to work on your current projects? So that maybe you can share a bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So actually, during your interview with Berkeley, they actually ask you on which startup project you're currently working on. And then once you tell them the details, they'll ask you if you would like to continue that in Berkeley as well. So basically, like for me, I'm also working on a startup in BAScii right now. But going to Berkeley, I feel like it's better to explore new startup with my team members there, because I feel like the diversity there and meeting new people, you can you can think of so many better ideas which has a social impact. And also at Berkeley, they have subjects called challenge labs. So there are challenge labs and the topics of the labs change every semester. So for our semester, it's basically all the current trends, which is like the metaverse, using innovation to solve health challenges, alternate meat. So there are many type of challenges that changes every semester and topics. So you basically have to choose one of them, and once you choose that, you'll be assigned to a team there with there's so many different students with different backgrounds all over the world at Berkeley. So you'll be assigned in a diverse team, and you basically have to work on a startup from there based on the topic that you chose.
Wow, those topics sound exciting though. They're like quite up to date with everything happening
Yeah,
in tech world.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Prim, I know you're working on a project here with your BAScii teammates. Pum, you'll have to probably continue working on that somehow virtually, right? With
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah, as we like, so basically our team have 3 people, that 2 people will go to Berkeley and another one will stay in Thailand, so we have to work like remotely and virtual, and we have to discuss on when exactly the time that is work for us, for like time zone for like America and in Thailand. Yeah, so we have to like discuss on this as well. It's a tough one, but yeah, we can work on it.
Real entrepreneur challenge, right? Okay. So as you're going next semester, I was wondering if you can just sum up, both of you, what are your expectations exactly? Because this all sounds very excited, so I know you're going to have a lot of fun, but what is it that you expect from this semester as an objective so that maybe when you come back, you can review that and see whether you achieved that or not? So let's start with Sudev. Sudev, what's your objective?
For me, is to firstly definitely gain exposure there, gain experience, because Berkeley is the leading startup ecosystem in the world. So basically, gain experience, how understand how startups are built, and also I would like to learn about more like leadership skills, mindset, and behaviors that you need to have to become a successful leader or entrepreneur in the future. So yeah, that's my main objective. And an added bonus would be if the startup that I work on would be successful. So that would be like an added bonus for me.
Fingers crossed. Prim, how about you?
Yeah.
What's your expectation?
I think it's a really good opportunity to like explore the world, also like to meet a new connection with and in like the same interesting in the startup field, and also is a good one to go to, I mean, like to meet people from Silicon Valley and also from Berkeley. They are really good and really excited to meet all of them.
I'm sure. I hope you have a lot of fun. I'm sure you will, but I'm just saying that it would be very excited to hear from you guys when you come back and share your experiences, as well as all the other students who are going to other universities as well. As we mentioned to you during the Kahoot trivia game, there's quite a few of the universities our students are going to. Quite a few going to Kyushu, quite a few going to Switzerland. I think Sweden is one. So Italy, I think as well. So our BAScii students next semester will be all over the place. So I hope you all enjoy it. And when you come back, you share with us the experiences you've had. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
definitely.
Prim. Thank you so much to Dev. Once again, if you anyone who's watching the live stream have questions about UC Berkeley specifically that you'd like us to ask Prim and Sudev, as well as any other students going abroad, let us know. Perhaps we even schedule a time next semester where we can bring you all on the live stream so you can tell us more about UC Berkeley from UC Berkeley. So we'll see. Thank you so much once again for being with us, guys. I hope to see you soon and good luck.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It's nice. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, have a good day,
See
Bye.
Daria.
you. Good.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Okay, we packed schedule, so I think we can move on right away. So next section will be on a part of our soft skill mini lecture series from BAScii. So this means that our one of our pillars of our school, one of the key pillars of our school is soft skills, which a lot of you ask for, but these are the skills that are required for our day-to-day life. They revolve around resilience, time management, presentations, everything. And we also get a lot of questions about interviews. So as you know, part of admission process to BAScii is the interview. All applicants who are shortlisted will be invited to get their interviews done here in BAScii. And we are not going to really share with you the questions we're going to ask because you got to prepare for any of them. But what we're going to share is some tips and tricks on how to promote yourself, how to brand yourself, how to be confident enough to speak publicly on any topics during the interview, whether to ourselves or others. And as well, anytime you need to pitch the project, as you heard, our students have to do so many projects and they have continuously pitching them to investors, uh, universities who are hosting them next year, our own mentors. So to help out with Project Seed, actually throughout 4 years, our students have mentors. And those mentors are actual startup founders, people who have firsthand experience of what it's like to launch a startup. So next section we have is actually a short presentation on personal branding from the person who knows probably best how to do it. He was in the interview panel interviewing our BAScii students, I think 2 years ago, as well as he's a co-founder of successful startups. So allow me to invite on stage Mr. Matas Danielavichus. So he's going to come in and talk about personal branding, key tricks, and tips on public speaking. Hi, Mr. Matas.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here today. Thanks for the nice introduction. And
It was a bit
I'm
messy
very
because
happy.
you have so many things to talk about and so many to introduce you. So I didn't know where to start. You've done so much help for our BAScii program. You mentor, you know, you do startups. So I'll give the floor to you now, and please go ahead with your presentations.
Sure. Yeah. Sometimes when I see in myself, I think I do too many things. I would like to be more focused, but well, that's the life of entrepreneur. It's hectic. Always need to be ready to do a lot of different things and be ready for challenges. So if you're looking for comfortable, well-balanced life, when being a startup founder or an entrepreneur might not be for you. You need to prepare yourself to be always challenged and always trying to find solutions in many different fields and aspects. And I'm very happy to see some of the students, as you mentioned, I've been helping to screen the first batch of students, and some of them are going to Berkeley right now. So I'm so happy to see the progression, and I had a chance to mentor them before as well. So this whole, journey for me as being a mentor here is also rewarding. I can clearly see how the seeds are sprouting very fast. And as you've mentioned, maybe I like to quickly share some tips and present a couple of slides I've just gathered a few minutes ago. Okay. Can you see my screen? Sorry, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes,
I suppose you
yes,
can.
we can,
Okay.
we can, yes, we can see your screen. Go ahead.
Okay, so just quickly to present myself. So yes, my name is Matas, and I'm an entrepreneur and also an actor. I'm a co-founder of Whatnot Startup Studio, where we build startups as a service for corporates. I'm also co-founder and CEO of GoRai. So GoRai is a startup which is tackling drones and agriculture. And I'm a marketing advisor for Knowledge Exchange, which is an innovation center here in Bangkok. And so today I would like to talk a little bit about personal branding and key tips for public speaking. I think you've just mentioned the importance of soft skills, and that BAScii is focused on that a lot, and how soft skills are leading to personal branding. So one thing I would like to start with is that this quote that 85% of your financial success is due to your personality and ability to communicate, negotiate, and lead. And shockingly, only 15% is due to technical knowledge. And this is one of the key challenges we notice when we work with students here in Thailand or Southeast Asia, that there's a lot of emphasis on technical skills, on engineering, development, and other things. But this, in our ever-changing world, is actually changing rapidly, and more of these positions will be taken over by machines. Even like good example is Canva and designers. Now everyone can be a designer, so people need less and less hard skill of a designer, but more and more soft skill of a designer, which is more of building the creative strategy and creating the new universe for your brand. So this is just one of the examples why is it important. So personal branding is something that is related to you as a person. And I think this is very good time to start just before entering the university to figure out or start to figure out who you are and how do you want to be perceived by the audience, and stepping into open society, out of sheltered school life, high school life, into real world with real challenges. We need to understand that you are being perceived by someone, and you are in control of that. So you could actually create your own image and be known and recognized the way that you want to, if you take certain actions and things in mind. So these are just a few examples of successful or at least known people and their personal brands. So we all know who Elon Musk is, Steve Jobs, even Donald Trump, Serena Williams, or Oprah Winfrey. So what these things have in common is that the companies that they lead or the brands that they lead stand behind them. So they become the face of their companies. So it's not that we all know Tesla, but we all know Tesla as it's one of the babies of Elon Musk. So that is how powerful personal brand is, so that people would recognize you as an entrepreneur first, than the brand of your company. And why is it good for you? Because when you eventually negotiate with investors or partners in your business, you bring more value to the business. So it means you can take more control and you can negotiate better terms because you are recognized, you are trustworthy, and people would be much more willing to collaborate with you and work with you rather than with someone that they don't know or cannot recognize. So investing time in building your own personal brand is very important, especially these days. Then entrepreneurs become more like a cult leaders, and they can create big communities and influence ecosystems, same as Elon Musk and, let's say, crypto ecosystem. So I would just like quickly to show this exercise that you can all do. This is just one of the example of personal branding canvas. You can probably Google it or just find online something similar. But personal brand canvas is a little bit similar to, let's say, business canvas or business brand canvas. But just to understand where you are and what type of pain points you might have, let's say which parts of the personal brand you still don't know, this canvas will help you to understand where you are at the moment. So starting from your identity, so it's more like related to your age, your personality traits, your physical appearance, your skills, and everything. So understand your present, your body type. Then also working on your skills. So what can you do as a student, as a grown-up? It doesn't really matter what are the additional skills or technical skills or soft skills that you managed to develop already, perhaps leadership skills, communication skills, or hard skills like development or coding. The reasons to believe in you. So this is something is important, and probably it's going to be in your admission interview, as you all need to prepare your portfolios. So you need to know your achievement. You need to know how to present your achievements. Every diploma, every competition, or any type of partnership or things that you are proud of, it could be even your trip abroad, you need to learn to present it, and you need to highlight the key things that would show the personality of yourself and create reasons to believe in you. Well, perhaps it might be a bit early, but knowing your profession and knowing your background and why you want to apply to certain university or subject to study should link to the past experience. So you should try to find something that relates to where you want to go, or find the reasons why you don't have and you want to pivot. Also understanding your promise. So what do you promise to the people? Are you promised fun, or are you promising reliability, or are you promising certain other traits? So, understanding the key promise that people would know and recognize you for, your fellow students, or people, someone who would like to hire you. Also, that relates to your positioning. So why you? And you need to learn to explain why you are the right person for certain things. So this is also relates to your interview process. Why should you be selected? You need to fight for it, and you need to be able to show the reasons why. Then working on your communication, that is related to the way you talk, the way you present yourself, but also relates to the channels, social media channels, how you build your profile, what is your public image. And we're living in the days that probably all of you use social media extensively. So I would recommend you to clear some of the things out of your social media before you enter into university or working environment, because it's part of due diligence process. People tend to search, to Google the other people, and it's good to be ready for that. It's good to know what you're showing. Competitors wise, well, in your case, if you're preparing for interview, every other student is your competitor. Try to imagine, try to see who is already studying in that university. Are they coming maybe from your circles, from the high schools that you've been studying to, or are they coming from different countries? Try to do some research on who is already in that school and who might be applying from surrounding high schools in your area. and try to get familiar, because there is limited amount of space in anywhere, and if you want to be part of it, you need to learn to outperform and be ready for the competition. And another important aspect is, of course, audience. So no matter what type of interview are you going to enter to, a university, job, or any, try to do research. Try to at least ask who might be in the interview panel. Is it someone from university? Is it someone external? Is it real life entrepreneur, or is it an academic background person? So you would know and can start do research approximately what type of questions or knowledge these people might have, so you could prepare better. And of course, the last thing is, so once you know the background about yourself and you see that certain parts might be blank, that relates to your investment into yourself. Maybe it's the time to buy that suit, or maybe it's the time to have a haircut before your interview, or more importantly, maybe it's time to invest into your education, into certain courses, or even a degree which you are currently contemplating about. So, list down the investments that you would like to make to improve yourself, to improve your personal brand, and to be outstanding and suitable for the place that you want to go. And the last bit is key tips for to improve public speaking and interview process. So being nervous is normal, but what helps to be less nervous is practice. So try to practice as much as you can. If someone asks you in public, do you have any questions, or would you like to say something, be that person who raises the hand. It will help you to learn to overcome the fear of public speaking. It will help you to express yourself to other people in a better manner, and it will help you to prepare. Also practice to your friends and family. It also helps, no matter how funny and stupid it might be. As I mentioned, know your audience. So do research before you go to talk. You cannot have a same story for everyone. You need to have an interesting story for the people that you meet. Organize your materials. So you're building your portfolios, you're building your decks to apply for university. Know every single bit of it. Know where is the stuff that is and what you want to show with it, so that you can explain it in much better and relevant moment. Always ask for feedback. If there is no time or people cannot give you feedback, they will tell you, but it doesn't hurt if you ask about the feedback of your performance. And then another important thing, and this is that really relates to personal branding, is let your personality come through. So yourself is the most unique thing you could have. So if you improve yourself, your authentic, your true self, this is like no one else in the world. So this is the easiest way to be unique, is to develop yourself, your own personality. So work with yourself, practice things that you love to do, improve the things that you don't like to do or you don't know, and be yourself. Don't be afraid to show your quirks, your funny sides. Of course, don't show the really bad sides. And try to use humor. Jokes and funny stories helps. Of course, knowing your audience, sometimes not all the jokes are appropriate, but having that hint of easiness and carefreeness perhaps sometimes helps to pop out your best parts of personality. Also avoid reading. So know your stuff, have some notes, but talk. It's better to have a pause, think about what you want to say rather than read, and do not lift your eyes. So this is very important, is your body language. Having a contact with people, looking into the eye, not using too much hand gestures, keeping the posture straight and being confident shines a lot. And from where you sit from the other side, when you are interviewing people, you can clearly see who is confident and who is prepared. So if you think that you can wing it, chances are very slim. So work with yourself on that. So this would be my key tips and ideas on personal branding and interviewing. So I hope that is insightful. And perhaps if anyone
Thank you,
has
Matas.
any questions, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I hope that our audience today takes your advice and be that person who asks questions, because we are also looking for our chats and seeing if anyone has any questions so we can pass it on to our participants today. I think a lot of the points you mentioned also could be applied to a portfolio, because as a part of admission documents for BAScii, students need to submit the e-portfolio following the template. And so many students are saying, hey, it's been difficult times and I haven't been able to do any activities. I am sure that what you mentioned about, investing in your education. So there is tons of information online, tons of courses. If you want to really stand out from your competition, just go ahead and figure out things that you can do even from the comfort of your home that will take you out of the mess, and you will stand out to those who interview and look at your portfolio. So yes, it's difficult to fill in portfolio with a lot of activities, but it's not impossible. And I hope you take notes of a presentation that you just hear so that it will help you through the process of admission, either to BAScii or technically any other universities that you're going to apply to. So thank you,
So
Mata.
maybe I could add a small tip to that as well. Even though we've been locked for a couple of years at home, even watching TV series or reading books that you like, if you know how to twist that as, and analyze it in a proper way, you could even present that. If you know how to present it, if you are creative enough, you could explain what you learned from certain contents that you consume, either books or films or whatever. But if you can show that you are studying, even doing that could be a good thing.
Sure, and it would definitely help people stand out from the crowd. We have so many students coming in who have learned the website of our school word by word, and that's what they try to recite to us. And that's not what we're looking for when you sit the interview. We're looking for your personality. So please follow advice from Mr. Matas and, show your personality through either your portfolio or your interview whenever you speak to us. Even questions today, like if you are the person who asks a lot of questions for this live stream, our team might notice you, and next time we see your application, we're like, oh, this is somebody we saw from the interview on the live streams, this section. So it helps to be the active person, even if sometimes you have to push yourself to be one. Okay, thank you so much, Matas, for being with us today.
Nice to see you. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. Bye. Okay, we are a little bit off our schedule, but we're trying to get back. So I'm not going to spend much time, and I'm going to introduce Dr. Lisa Kenny. She's recently joined our school as a part of Gifted Faculty Members program. She recently arrived back to Thailand. She's been here before, but I'm sure she'll tell you a bit more. So please, Dr. Lisa, let's start your presentation because I'm really excited to hear it, and I'm sure the participants are as well.
All right, let me get my screens all in order here. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Really happy to have you here and excited to share a little bit about what BAScii is all about. All right. And Daria, are you seeing that full screen? Okay, there we are. All right.
Yeah, it's loading.
All
Okay,
right.
the floor is yours, Dr. Lisa.
Okay, thanks. So I was asked to give a talk today about what is BAScii, give you guys an idea. And so I wanted to talk about why programmers and environmentalists need to be friends. And I hope by the end of this, you'll have a better understanding of why that is. All right, so first I'll just give a little bit of background about myself. If you haven't memorized the website yet, I am from the United States, if you can't tell by my accent. I did undergrad at University of Wisconsin, where I focused in Southeast Asia and was actually able to do a study abroad at Chiang Mai University. And then after that, received a Fulbright fellowship to stay in Thailand and did a semester at Jula in the Thai Studies program, and then as well as research on women's groups mostly in the south of Thailand. Then I did dual masters at the University of Washington in Seattle in public policy or public administration and international development. I was back in Southeast Asia doing some research in Vietnam. And then finally, I did my PhD in something called decision science, which I can talk about in a little bit, out of the Department of Geography. Also was able to come back into Southeast Asia and do some work in Northern Vietnam, as well as Northern Canada. So went from like -40 to +40 in a matter of years there in temperature. Most recently, before I joined BAScii, I was back actually in my hometown of Buffalo, New York. So if you know New York City or if you know Niagara Falls, you kind of have an idea of where Buffalo is. And I was working for a government transportation planning agency and also teaching at the University of Buffalo. We've got some pictures there, Niagara Falls, if you're familiar. We also get a lot of snow. I was talking to my parents over the weekend. They already have snow there. No thanks, I'm good. So my teaching and research interests are definitely multidisciplinary. So they involve lots of different topics and sectors that I think are actually interrelated. So most recently, like I said, I was with a government transportation planning agency. And so I worked a lot on what's called smart mobility, which is really any transportation that's being helped by technology. And that's under the larger smart cities focus that BAScii has. But in addition to that, I also focused and did work with community and stakeholder engagement, which I'll talk about in a minute, about decision making. So this looks at the psychology of how we make decisions, and especially in groups. And guess what? We're not always so great. We're not always rational, logical thinkers. So how do we help people make better decisions, especially in the government and technology sectors? Also interested in looking at, we have a very uncertain future. I think these past couple of years have taught us that. How do we deal with uncertainty now so that we're better ready for the future? And then I love doing pilots, testing things out, innovation labs, getting groups together, and really trying to think through how to approach some problems differently. So I'm going to bring up this picture, which again, if you've memorized the website, you're probably familiar with, the BAScii tree. So at its trunk, we've got the technology, the business. So, you're really going to develop some really strong skills in that. And then as we heard from Kun, the different focus areas that you can focus on one or two or all of these, but all of these do form the branches of the tree, right? And so they are related to the BAScii tree. So keep this image in mind. We'll come back to it in a little bit. So I wanted to use the company MoveMe as an example of interdisciplinary training and why it's important. So any of you who, maybe if you live in Bangkok, maybe you know of MoveMe or you've even used it. And it was it's a startup that was created by students from Jula a few years ago. But it's an electric tuk-tuk company that you can call, schedule on your phone via an app and pay for it. So you put in your pickup location, they'll come get you, drop you off where you need to go. The QR code there does work. I'm not sponsored by MoveMe, but you can feel free to take a look at it. So we're gonna use MoveMe as an example of something that's interdisciplinary. All right. So if we think of it, I think the first thing we think of is it's a startup, right? So things that you would learn in BAScii about startups, entrepreneurship, other business development, marketing, funding, getting investors, the product design itself, and then UX or user experience, right? So definitely MoveMe goes into that startup category. And then the technology category too, right? So there's programming that goes behind the app, the electric vehicles, the EVs themselves. There's the technology to charge them, to determine the routes, the schedules, and some of that probably has some AI or artificial intelligence behind it to make it operate smoothly. And then the user experience with both using the app and riding on the vehicle itself. All right, so we've got startup, technology, and then smart cities. Again, this is my focus area. So, I think this is the most interesting, but certainly MoveMe falls under that smart mobility. So transportation being helped by technology. And then this idea of the Internet of Things, or IoT, where everything is connected, right? We can do pretty much everything from our phone, especially in Thailand. You're way ahead of the United States. So but the idea that things are really interconnected by 4G, 5G, and beyond. So like, okay, so we look at MoveMe, we see these are probably some of the main areas that reflect things that would be in BAScii, right? But there's more. So if we really think about it, there's lots of different areas that just this one company can represent. So we've got health up at the top. So looking at human health, so air quality, right? This is an electric vehicle. I'm sure we've probably all been behind a tuk-tuk that, you know, is spewing out emissions. These don't have that, and that really helps the air quality, which in the next couple of months we'll appreciate, right? Also thinking about this actually gets people out being a little bit more active, because you may have to actually walk to the pickup point a little bit, or walk from where they drop you off to where you're going. You're not just in your car in the taxi. And then also noise reduction. So again, I have tuk-tuks that, you know, go on my street pretty often. We all know they're pretty loud. And I've been seeing a lot lately about the effects of noise on our health and our long-term health. So these are silent. Like, I barely hear them coming down my street. I'm in RE, which is where they started, and you're like, oh, there, all of a sudden there's the MoveMe tuk-tuk. All right, so we've got health, we got the technology already. Then we've got stakeholder engagement, which is a class I teach. And this is really looking at stakeholders are people who have some sort of interest in your company or your product, right? So it could be your customers or future customers, government, funders, banks. Here it might be people who are prospective drivers. It could be existing tuk-tuk drivers. So all the people, businesses, organizations that have some sort of interest in what you're doing. So we learn about how to manage them, you know, who to prioritize, what sort of tools and activities are out there to help us maintain those good relationships. Okay, so we've got that. And then we come around the bottom there. So ethics and justice, which you might be like, what does an electric tuk-tuk have to do with ethics and justice? Well, let's think about who has access to this. So it could be in terms of cost. So as a company, MoveMe would have to determine, all right, well, what's the cost, you know, where's our breaking point so that we can continue to operate, but do we want to actually bump that up a little bit to increase our profits, or do we want to keep it a little bit lower so that it's affordable to more people? And that's a decision you would have to make, right? And then looking at access in terms of where they operate. So right now they're in about, I think, 4 or 5 different districts within central Bangkok. And that's a decision MoveMe would have to make too. So they've decided to focus there, but maybe they wanted to ensure that people on the outer edges of Bangkok had some transportation options. Again, that's an issue to decide. And then also just physical access to the vehicle. So if you're in a wheelchair, if you've got a kid with you in a pram or a stroller, if you're older, if you have vision impairment, you're blind. So that's an access and a justice issue there. And then moving to environment, I think this one's probably pretty clear, right? So it's an electric vehicle, emissions, noise, certainly helping out there. But you know, when you are first starting, and MoveMe was first starting as a startup, as a company, they probably had to bring in some environmental experts to give them some ideas on how to design this. And then we move over to government policy and regulation, which is also something I focus on a lot. So just being able to operate, you know, and drive on the roads would require, you know, permits, licenses, fees, as well as just being able to do business. So getting those permits and licenses. I don't know if there's a special license to drive it. So there might even be some new policies and new regulations that need to be created because this is such a new technology that we haven't really seen here yet. So that gets back to that stakeholder engagement. All right, we've got to have good relationships with the right people in Department of Land Transport, for example, so that our business can get up and running. Okay, so really, when we think about all these, I mean, they're not just, you know, not just a startup, and it's not just about environment, but it's about all of these things. And really, when we think about it, it's really a web, right? And as you can see, I'm not a designer. So when I bring a team together, I would make sure I have someone with design skills, which I think gets to the main idea here is, are you going to learn all of these things in BAScii and be an expert in all of these? No. You'll get the basic working knowledge, sort of that foundation. So you'll know about programming, you'll know about ethics, you'll know about doing a startup and business development, and you'll probably dive deeper into one or two of these, but you'll have that foundation, that working knowledge, so that when you're on a team like this, you'll be able to be the person that can talk to all these different groups of people. So when I was doing transportation planning, I wasn't a programmer, but I understood what an API was. And then I could try and translate that to people working in the government who had no idea, right? So I think that's the type of skills that BAScii offers. And these are the skills that we're really going to be needing, I think, for the future in technology and business. It's not just becoming a finance person or working at a bank anymore, but it's having all of these skills sort of in your toolkit, and then really, diving deeper, like I said, and being an expert in one or two of these. So back to that tree, here we are, right? So, and this is a much nicer looking graphic. They had a much better designer than I can do at BAScii. But again, we've got that core, we've got that trunk, and then we've got the branches that are all related in the BAScii tree. So I'll leave it at that. My email is there. If you have questions about classes offered, about transportation in the US, anything like that, and so feel free to contact me. Otherwise, I hope to see some of you next year. Thanks, and Daria, I'll push it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. It's super important to consider any kind of aspect of our life these days as to be very transdisciplinary and requiring a lot of different fields to come together. So everything that our students are faced with usually requires more than a person. So I hope that you enjoy teaching in BAScii, and I'm sure that some of the students maybe listening to us now will be coming into the classroom next year, so they will be in your classroom. Thank you so much for helping us out and sharing your experiences so far.
Sure, thanks. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day.
Okay. Next up, allow me to invite to our virtual stage Professor Dr. Akachai Sumali. He is our full-time faculty member here at BAScii, who's been with us since the almost very beginning. I know we're very tight on schedule, so thank you so much for waiting out, and I hope you have some time to share with us what is a good startup, because it's super important, and I don't think many people know. So go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Dahlia. So good afternoon, everyone. So I hope to see some of you soon in BAScii. And I think one of the main components of our program is to help you to groom your idea, build up your innovations, and if possible, then build up into a startup. Okay, so, and I think in your portfolio, when you submit, one of the questions that we would like you to answer and look for is, what is your good idea for the startup, or what are you working on right now? So I think it's appropriate now just to share some concept and idea. So what is a good startup? Because it's just a cliche word now that keep talking about. Everyone is doing startup. Okay, so let's take a look on what actually is a good startup. Let me share my screen. Okay, so the first question is, what is a startup? I mean, thinking about, discuss idea with your friends. Let's open a coffee shop, and it's a very cool coffee shop. Is that a startup? Or maybe at the end of your undergraduate degree, you decide to take over a business from your family. Is that a startup? And basically, a startup is quite different from the concept of a typical business development. Like if I compare this with a small business, the key difference of the startup idea is that it needs to be quite innovative. Okay, so that's why it's going to be very risky. Risky in the sense that the idea is going to change and disrupt the way of life, the way of business operation, the way that we provide a service. So it's often can be unsuccessful. So this is say that about 100 startup, maybe only one or two or few will be very successful. But if it's successful, it's going to be scaling up very quickly. So we are talking about not like opening like one shop and then another shop in like 5 months, another shop in like 1 year. That's a typical SME, small to medium enterprise model. But if you're talking about startup, the setup of the business need to be able to expand very quickly. So that's why you need to be innovative. You need to really rely on a lot of technology, a lot of new idea. And last but not least, the way that we finance this business, the way that we finance this type of startup, we're not going to be something that, like traditional financing model. So you're not going to go to the bank, get some loan. We're talking about trying to sell the idea, trying to sell the concept, trying to sell the technology to the investor, to the VC, the venture capital, to let them see the future, to let them buy into the design that you have in your hand. So that's the concept of startup. So very risky. The idea is very important. Start up quick, fail quick, okay, grow very quick, very risky. So that's why when we're talking about setting up the startup, it's not going to be a direct path. It's not going to be a straight line. Normally, it's very messy. So starting from what is a good idea, okay, then develop your partnership, your team members, your prototype, selling your idea, selling your business model to investor, and then eventually come up to the form of like a company operation. So in this whole process, it's very complicated. Like, okay, so we're gonna teach this a lot in our BAScii program, but typically when we are talking about the most important thing on this startup company, in the past, when we talk about having a success, okay, when I at your age, okay, I learned also a lot from textbook and everything, and then all our parent and all our like elder always tell us that, okay, success is about 1% of the idea and 99% of hard work. And I always think that, oh, this is hard work, okay, to go up all this effort and try to build up a good business, try to be successful. But for the startup, this is not entirely true, okay? Particularly at the beginning stage of your startup development. Maybe later on, when you're really building up into the company formation and the operation of your concept, that's of course need a lot of hard work. But for the startup, the most important part is the idea. So we need to spend a lot of time figuring out the good idea, test it out, okay, do it fast, fail very fast, okay, so that we can test what is a good idea. So normally when we're gonna build up like in your startup portfolio or whatever your service or the product that you've been working on, when we think about the new idea, we can think about two categories. Okay, one is we just reinvent the existing thing, replacing them with new technology, with a faster communication system, with a better way to do the existing thing. For example, like the concept of taxi service has been around like 100 years, right? It's not new. But then new startup come in and then say, hey, I'm going to change it. I'm going to reinvent this existing service using the digital technology, developing a system that rely on the mobile phone applications and then allow us to call to book the taxi service in the most convenient way. The second categorization of the startup idea, the good idea, is to create the new market. Okay, so these are the like a basic 5 way of the new market creation. The first way is you try to organize what we call the informal behavior. Okay, so anything that going on right now in people's life that become very convenient for them, okay, and then you try to organize them into a more like a convenient way to use it, a more proper way to operate it. So that's become your new market, right? Some example like the Uber, Airbnb, okay. The second categorization is like a behavior of early adopter. So if you don't notice something that this never happened before in our lifestyle, but I can create that type of service, and there'll be a lot of new early adopter to buy into these new services. That's also a new type of market as well. The third is the exponential curve, like, basically you create a new technology for the thing that people are using every day, like a Tesla or Intel or some bioscience. Okay. The fourth is the feature abstraction. So you try to really um, extract some information or digitize some information from the existing business or from some information, and then use them in a new marketing way. Okay. So last but not least, the resource sharing that So there are different ways to come up with a new idea for the startup, and basically most of the idea, this is very important, will fail into the category, say, like a mediocre idea. So it's not, it's like, if you think about this, like for 10 seconds, anybody can think about this idea. So this is like most of the time that people wasted when they think about the startup program. So the concept of getting a good idea for a startup is for you to move more to this right-hand side on this curve, okay, to really push yourself to think in a more detail, to think about the way to create your own technology, to really think about what is those ideas that likely to produce something that, if it's successful, it's going to be a great service. It's going to be a great idea. It's going to scale up very quickly. So in BAScii, we're teaching on how to really come up with this type of new or like more adventurous idea for the startup. This is example of like this 5 template of thinking. Okay, the first one is, if you don't know what to do, you just innovate in the way that it's just enough. What it means is that what is a successful formula of the service, like a video game. This is a popular video game, but you may think about trying to replace just some element of that video game. Okay, so it's between trying to make exactly what we call the pure clone of the idea or the totally new of the idea. So the good idea for a startup is to strike the balance to create this green zone, this new energy. Okay. Or the second template or the framework of developing a new idea of a good startup is trying to leverage the technological shift. What is the most current technological development that we have right now? The AI, the blockchain, the metaverse, and how you're going to bring that to really create a new service or replacing the existing service that's going to help you to scale up your value of business quickly. And the third framework, the green box here, is that maybe you need to take more risk. If it's something that is very safe, okay, it means that you enter what we call the red oceans. A lot of people are doing it already. So sometimes good idea may not be what we call the consensus idea. There'll be a lot of challenge in the society, in your team. So that's where you actually can bring in like very good innovative idea. And then the fourth categorization of this type of framework development is that you want to compare between solving the problem and creating the new opportunities. So the good startup idea is what you can do, either solving the current problem, or you create a total brand new opportunity for the business or for the lifestyle. Okay. And last but not least, you need to trade off between the market risk and the execution risk when you develop the startup idea. Something that sounds very safe on the market part of view may have very high execution risk. For example, like I'm talking about SpaceX concept, right? That, okay, who's gonna thought about building like a space shuttle that can land by itself? There's no competition in that market, so there's no market risk. But you have very high execution risk because to create it is very tough. It's very, very innovative. It requires a lot of technology. The other component of having a good startup idea is that you need to combine the 3 timing together. One is you must make sure that your startup idea has a mature enabling technology. You must own the technology. You must know the deep tech or whatever engine to drive that idea to be successful. Okay, not just a concept, but really deep into the technology part. Secondly, it must have a good economic impetus to drive this consumption or buy-in into this new idea. Last but not least, the cultural buy-in. A good example here is when we talk about all these application-based services like Uber or Grab or anything. If there's no enabling technology like the smartphone or the 4G communication that we have today, probably it's not gonna scale up like the way we are using at the moment, right? Or if it's not like so good, that have this pandemic effect, that have this need to have the economic value to adopt into this technology platform, then we're not going to have this scale up of the value of your startup. So the good startup need to have both technology that can enable it, have the right timing, have the economic impact, and also have the proper cultural buy-in at that stage. So if I'm going to sum up, instead of saying what is a good startup, I may sum up here is that what is not so good about the failure that can happen in the startup program. First, you may not have a good startup because you run out of cash, you fail to raise a new capital to extend your idea. And we were talking about the skill that you need to have in terms of management and the finance skill, right? Second, you may do something that no market actually needed. Then we are talking about the skill in terms of design thinking, consumer analysis. Okay. Third, you may get outcompete. Somebody else can make it better, faster, more convenient. Then we are talking about technology design and marketing. Fourth, you may have a flawed business model. So your everything is good, but it cannot make money. It cannot make a franchise. It cannot scale up. So we're talking about scalability and the finance. Last but not least, it may be such a good idea, but it's illegal. It violates some regulatory framework, like some of this blockchain is going on, cryptocurrency. It needs to pass through that barrier to scale up. We're talking about the legal skill and the ethical analysis skill. So in BAScii, we're actually trying to educate you and also to train and then interact with you to combine all these pillars of the skill that help you to define what is a good startup here as well. Some example in our A-School program here. So have this level of thinking from the pre-idea to the prototyping and all the ways to the go to the market. And so far, like your senior, if you join our program, we have a lot of students that come together, have the different stage of their startup, from their idea and the research up to trying to go to the market at the moment. Some example like this product called NewTech, to trying to use this EEG to detect some depressive disorder of our brain function. Okay, or this project called Gather, I was the mentor of this project myself last year to sort of help people organize their appointment. It's so hard to make available time altogether to make some activity. So this platform trying to use some AI to let people choose their available time and match them with the appropriate location and the time slot. Or like the app called Dula that focus on providing some e-medical record and e-prescription. So these are the example of the startup idea and under the current development in the BAScii program. And in Chulalongkorn, we have a bigger set of the pools of the startup project that's going on that touch both lifestyle, sustainable development, smart city, and also the education program. So all this is like a new venture of the way of thinking about the business setup, the scaling up of the idea, taking the risk, owning the technology, okay, putting all together to create a good idea and deliver it to the public. So that's all what I have to share for you today. So I hope to be able to see you around in the next coming year as our student and discussion in our group project as well. Thank you very much. Back to you, Daria.
Thank you, Dr. Ekachai. Thank you so much for sharing. I think it's one of the things that differentiates BAScii from a lot of other programs, and Chula as well, is the focus on the real life startup projects. So thank you for sharing.
Okay, no problem. See you around, Daria. Cheers.
See you. Okay, I think you as an attendee have gathered some information you weren't aware before about our program. I think next up is two things that we need to still cover. First is we haven't shown the full list of people who won the prizes in the first trivia game. So I like to bring on screen the 8 people. We only saw the first 3, actually first 5. So these are the names of all the 8 people who got first top places in our trivia game at the beginning. So if you're still watching, you can see your name here. Please email us at SCII, so scii.admin@chula.ac.th. So this is our SCII admin email. It's scii@admin. If you can email to us, if you see your name here, email to us on that email. Put it the topic, subject of the email, something like BAScii Showcase winner. Here's the email you see on screen. So if you are 8 of the people please share with us to claim your prize so we can send it over to you. Um, Email to us your name, screenshot that you took earlier in the game, and then what is your nickname that you use in the game. So Barbie, Prema, Suvir, Ramida, Chatmati, Hana, Booth, and Mint. I probably made a mistake pronouncing your name, so please don't judge me. I tried. And anyways, those 8 people who are in this list, email to us to claim your prize. However, the second thing is many of you, when you registered, asked us quite a few questions, and unfortunately, we're not able to answer all of them in today's session. So from now on, I will stay live for a little bit and I will answer some of the questions that I got here from the registration form. You can also send us a question if you still have any about the program admission. If you didn't hear the answer in today's event, send it to us in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, the chat under the video, YouTube, same. If you send us the questions you have, the team will forward it to me and I will help answer those questions. So I'll stay for a little bit longer with you and try to answer questions you have about the program and the admission. So I'll go ahead and I will look at the questions in the form here. So for a lot of questions here seem to be about the curriculum. If you go to our website, which is BAScii.chula, you will see the curriculum under the program. And so when you go into the curriculum, you can download the full curriculum with all of the classes that our students take. So if you go to sci.chula.ac.th, which is our website, you can see it here. You go under BAScii, and there is the whole tab called Curriculum. You can click it and download the full curriculum of our program. So every single subject with the description that our students have to take throughout 4 years. So this is to answer your curriculum questions. Okay. The environment in classrooms between student and teacher. So right now it's super different to what it was before and hopefully what will be after. Right now, we are still unable to have our students in person in their classroom full capacity. So we are integrating a hybrid teaching and learning model where we have online classes, and sometimes on the rare occasion, our students will get together to work on their group projects. So right now, the environment between teacher and student, and we have the question here, is slightly different. But the emphasis throughout our learning is to make it more personal. So even if it's a large class, for example, I know that we have the class on programming. It's a big group of students, so each year we have about 100. So it's quite difficult to make it a little bit more personal. So I know that they divide it into, first they have a lecture, and then they'll have a practice. And in this practice, they will separate into groups. And so this becomes therefore a little bit easier for an instructor to give a bit more time to students. So it depends on the class itself. That dictates on how the environment will be. So project seat is really practical, really hands-on, group work, mentors, a lot of meetings that students still have to do, even if we cannot host them here in university yet. But a lot of other classes will be more theory-based. So it really depends on the class itself. So we talked about it a little bit, about the goal of the program and who our graduates will be. So it really does differentiate us between from other programs, whether in Chula or outside, that are more straightforward in their career path. So for example, if you see yourself as purely computer science major, just working on programming, writing code, BAScii could be a potential program for you. However, it might be better fit to go into engineering, computer science. What we are looking for students who are sometimes unaware or sometimes just interested in so many more things than just one area. So a good fit for our program would be somebody who would like to work on startups, would like to give a real impact into the world, would like to understand a little bit more of a foundation of a lot of disciplines and be able to then navigate into the world of entrepreneurships and startups. So, for example, we outline our future graduates as one of the three. It's either technology innovator, innovation entrepreneur, or social transformer, or somewhere in between. So graduates from our program can either go ahead and work on their startup, continue on. They can go on to work on their family business. They can also go on and work in the company, or they can continue their education with master's degree. It really depends on the personal preference of the student on where they want to go from here on. So we had a really good question about how to explain BAScii to my parents. If there is one phrase that describes BAScii to them, what it would be. It's difficult to say it in one sentence. We have shared with you on the Facebook page of our event a really great video. It's also on YouTube. It's a welcome from our executive director, Professor Dr. Warsak Kanapnukulchai, where he shares the idea behind our program, behind our school. And so you can actually give this video to your parents, and I think it would be very self-explanatory. It shares with you the reasons why we need a different approach to higher education. As somebody like your parents who have graduated a long time ago and they get through a more standard career path, it might be difficult for them to understand why we need a different approach to higher education. But for somebody who knows that once you graduate, by the time you graduate, things change so rapidly, you need to understand more than just we need to understand more than just the direct approach. You need to understand how to consider lifelong learning, how to continue learning, how to adapt to the new challenges that technology disruption faces us with. This would be something that would explain our BAScii program, the reasons for our existence. So there's this video, it's on our YouTube. It's the welcome speech from Professor Warsak. So please share that with your parents, and I hope they will understand. And if not, gosh, they can come and visit us later on, hopefully when we can host visitors and we will be able to share, but it's very difficult to say it in one sentence. It's just that we need to follow the disruption in higher education to become more relevant. I think that's the reason for BAScii. Where we're able to find any examples online of the for the portfolio, that's one of the questions that we saw coming. You can't. We're not sharing our examples of the portfolios because those are, I guess, private information of the students who have submitted those portfolios. So right now there is a portfolio template. It's available on our website on the admission pages, or where you can download it. It's a very simple document and it has the structure where you can share your activities. We don't share the examples of the portfolio because it's such a personal thing. We try to already limit it to something that is template based, so everyone is at least using the same template. But what you're putting in there is your personal, and you have to decide what it is, and it's so different to every single person who's submitting application to BAScii. But going back to what Mr. Matas was saying in his presentation on personal branding, be sure that even though you might not have done activities as much as you would have otherwise if we're a different situation, that you still use your experiences and twist them into something that puts your personality up front. So like I say, even if you've done like an online lecture course on YouTube that was completely free, you just watched so many videos on a certain topic you are so interested in, let's say it's Python, or let's say it's the marketing or aesthetic intelligence, or any of the topics you're super interested in. If you've watched a series of videos and lectures, you can always put that in portfolio. It would really help with standing out from everyone else. I'm sure you still have to do some of the activities in the classrooms, different projects, even if it's online. You're not sitting on the couch all day long. You're definitely doing something, and this is what we want to hear in the portfolio. So be sure to try and put those into whatever you're submitting to us, or any other faculty, any other universities you're applying to. Okay. And if you're not currently working on any startup project as well, technically, we are not expecting you to be working on your startup project. You're in high school. There's very few people who are working on the startup project in high school, and this is understandable. That's why we're here and we are focusing on startups, is that you can come into our school and we'll be helping you out to put your project forward with your ideas. If you're not working on the project of startup project right now, you sure should be having ideas of what it could be, or some ideas what you could change. You can put that out there. If your idea is really good, why not come and work on it further on when you apply, when you already enrolled in BAScii, hopefully. It doesn't have to be a concrete idea, just some of the ideas of how you want to make the world better. I'm sure most people think about it on a daily basis. So I'm sure if you are considering BAScii, you're one of the people who thinks how to make the world better. So use that. How should I tell my parents that BAScii is better than BBA? I don't know if it's better than BBA. It's I don't know if we're better than any other faculty. There's no such thing as better or worse. I would say that just try to highlight different ideas that fit with why you're considering BAScii, compared to other programs. What makes it different? If you're thinking of applying to BBA, you might look into business, right? Here we also have business, but in addition to this, we have technology. So I'm not going to talk about BBA specifically. A lot of business programs, when you go in to do a business degree, you'll learn how to set up and sell a business, let's say. When you go to computer science degree, you'll know how to develop a system, products, anything like that. But what you'll be able to do here is do both of them. So if you're in business degree only, you know how to sell, but what is it that you're selling? You need to have a product or a service that you're selling. If you're in computer science degree, however, a lot of the times you'll know how to write a product, a system, but you're not going to know what to do with this. And this is what BAScii comes in place, and that's how I like to explain it, is that not only will you be able to develop a product with your own hands, write the system, get it together, prototype it, here it is, a working product. You will then be able to put it on the market, understand who your audience is, how to sell it. So this becomes, a coherent thing where you not only develop a product, you know how to sell it. Not only do you know how to sell, you have something to sell. So I think here's the thing, I cannot compare it to BBA specifically, but I know that this is one of the main differences, is that we allow you to go through the entrepreneurship journey full on, first-hand experience, doing it, trying it, failing it, selling it, or not selling it. Whilst a lot of other programs are usually considered being more theoretical than practical. So when you graduate, you have to be starting at point zero and begin from scratch. Here, even if you fail your project throughout your studies in BAScii, you then graduate with some idea of how to do that somewhere in the process, so you can go back and begin again. Great questions, though. I hope I helped explain some of them. Keep them coming if you have any. There's a question about internships in the company. So yes, our students can take internship in the company. If you go into our news blog on our website, as well as our Facebook page, you'll see some of the feedbacks that students have had as they completed internships, either during the summer or during the semester in some of our partner companies. And usually in those startups, those internships they get to do a lot of different things, exciting projects. They actually do work on projects most of the time when they do internships as well. But those would be the projects by the company, so they will participate on that. If you let us know if you'd like to learn more about internships, so you can comment, yes, I want to know about internship, that next time we can bring some of the students who've done internships and they can tell you their experiences specifically. So if you want to know about internships, you can message us. Course coverage. So once again, if you want to know the curriculum, you can go ahead on our website. There's also program structure there, full one, where you can see when is course structure, our course start, when our specialization starts. So you can see it all there on our website under BAScii menu. So go ahead, learn it. You can also see it on our recent video we've shared with you, which is also on our YouTube. It's Program Overview and Admission 2021. So you can go there, and there's Dr. Warnia who tells you everything about the program as well. How many admission rounds are there? How many admission rounds there, and when? So we are going to open our first admission round for Thai students shortly. It starts in December. I believe it's 4th of December or 9th of December. It's 9th of December, correct? Yeah, so it's 9th of December, and it will go until the end, 20th of December. 24th of December. I have some help here. I don't remember all the details. So we have this first round, early admission round for Thai students from December on, and we have early international admission towards the end of the month and up until February. So these are our early admission rounds. There will be more admission rounds coming afterwards. We are going to be launching a page shortly on our website again. It will be under admission. You can go in and you'll be having all the admission information in there. So there is 2 rounds for Thai applicants. There's 2 rounds for international applicants. The first one for both will start in December. So keep an eye on this. And then you can apply within that time frame. I also saw questions before an application. You will not need to send us any hard copies of your documents. So when you decide to apply, you just prepare all the necessary documents in PDF, and you go into our admission system application platform, and then you submit all of them there. Don't need to send us any hard copies, paperless. Is there an age limit to enter this program? Technically not. We do not have any age limit so far. The only difficulty might be is submitting the documents that are relevant. So we require quite a few. We require the diploma, graduation from high school. We require math proficiency and English proficiency. So those will need to be submitted by whoever is applying to our program. If you're above, let's say 25 and up, you could technically still take our program, but just keep in mind that you'll be studying with a lot of younger kids. If that's not a problem, we applaud lifelong learning. So we are welcome for people who want to continue on and do our degree. However, for anyone under 25, there's not really a problem. There's no age limit. We have students apply to us who have started a different degree and then decided that it doesn't fit them. And then they came to study BAScii. We have a girl in year 3 right now. She started medical path and then decided that she wanted to do more into innovation and health and well-being. And so she's with us year 3 now. The only challenge of being a BAScii student, a little bit older age, is just the age difference, that you'll be studying with slightly younger kids. Otherwise, I don't think there is an issue. And getting the documents, perhaps. If you graduated school years ago, might be difficult, but otherwise, I'd encourage, if you feel like it's a good fit from what you heard so far, I'd encourage you to apply. There's no hurt in that, and then you can decide. Not every path in life has to be linear. So, what else? Should student need to know well about doing 3D model with Photoshop? No. So as you can judge about our entry requirements by the actual entry requirements. So we have math as one of the proficiency requirements, because think about that. We need to fit in like finance related classes, which are key for business, into a very short time frame, because there's a lot more to discover. And so because of that speed is what makes us need to have good math skills, our students to have good math skills. Therefore, we have math proficiency and we have English proficiency to just keep up in English, because as you may or may not know so far already, we are an English program. We have our faculty members speak English in every class, so it will be very difficult to follow unless you have good English speaking skills or just English proficiency in general. So these are the two requirements that are key to submit your application. So 3D model and Photoshop are not one of them. It's a really great skill to have, and you can learn even now online. There's a bunch of videos you can watch and learn those skills, but they're not really required to study in BAScii. One of the other skills that would be super helpful is having Python programming skills or any other programming skills, not Python, because this is also something important to be in our program, but nothing really as a prerequisite to take a BAScii course. I want to see examples of how the alumni are doing. Well, if you have not understood so far, we only got our school started. I think it's 3 years now. So we only have 3 batches of students with us, and therefore we don't have alumni so far as of yet today. Our closest to alumni are year 3s that you had a chance to hear from as they're going on their exchange next semester. Those are our BAScii 001 first batch of students. They will be the first graduates not so long from now. So as we get them to be our alumni, we will definitely tell you more, but right now we don't have any alumni. We'll be soon having them. Mostly questions that I have here are about the curriculum, requirements, classes. So as I mentioned, you can see all the curriculum on our website. It's published there. Please go ahead and watch. How to prepare for the interview? Well, I hope you watched today's session because it got you some idea. A few more comments from me as you first submit your documents and then worry about the interview. But if you are worrying about interview as of right now, please don't learn word by word on what you see on our website. Understand what the program is about so you can answer the questions, but we don't want to hear you speak the language that we put on our website and our platforms. That's not why we're interviewing you. We know it, so we don't need to hear it from you again. We want to know about you. We want to know about who you are, why you are a fit in BAScii, because at the same time that we are deciding who to enroll, who to give the offer to for the admission, you need to be deciding whether you're a good fit with BAScii. So really understanding how do you fit in here would help you not only to present yourself properly in the interview, it would also help you understand and make a decision whether you're a good fit, whether we are a good fit for you. So it works both ways. It's not a one-sided road. You choose us, we choose you. It's both. I also have questions about admission. So portfolio, talked about portfolio. I think we'll be finishing off soon. So if you have any last questions about anything, please leave it and I'll pass it on to me. So I'll stay here for a few more minutes just in case there's any more questions. And also, please message if you'd like us to do another session, Q&A live or anything, so we can schedule it. We'll be happy to bring on board something that we haven't talked about, some other people. If we never learn about programming, will we still be able to enter this program? Yes, you will be. Like I said, think about it like this. Our requirements are math proficiency and English proficiency. That's all we really need to accept you pretty much as a candidate, right? As the basics, that's the two. So anything above that, it's just helpful. It's just something that would make it easier for you to be here, because as I mentioned, for finance, super quick. So if you have an idea about finance, if you took it in your IBA level or whatever, or just interested in economy and finances, it would help you. It wouldn't be a disaster if you have never learned about it, unless you are not going to pay any attention in the classroom. That it will be a disaster. Otherwise, if you don't have any prior experiences in either programming or business marketing or finance or anything, it's fine. That's why we are here. We are not really here to assess you on all your knowledge so far and give you a degree. We're here to spend 4 years with you, help you understand and navigate this world of entrepreneurships and startups, and then give you a degree. So we're here to teach you. We're not here to just test you on what you know. So yes, you'll be able to enter the program if you have never learned about programming, but it would be super helpful for you to get some understanding of it as you're waiting for the academic year to start. So I assume if you're here, you are planning to apply for next academic year, so you still have the time. I'd encourage you to at least start researching and understanding a little bit about it, trying little things out. There's a lot of available materials to start on programming. Once again, to answer your question, you don't need to know, but it would be super helpful, and it would really help you stand out from the candidates as well. You can imagine that we will have a lot of applicants who are very good at programming, and so to help you compete with them, you should at least know a little bit, or like a vague idea. I'd recommend this as you are waiting for the next academic year to start. So it's more so to help you with the studies in BAScii than helping you with the admission to BAScii. Okay, any last questions? Otherwise, we're gonna go. It's been a long time since we've done this. It's been almost over 2 hours. I'm sure you also have things to do. So okay, so I don't see any more questions coming, which I hope is a good sign that we covered pretty much everything. So thank you once again for tuning in to our live stream. I hope you find it useful. If you would like to hear more about some specifics, as I mentioned, please leave it in the comments. We will be reading it, so we will know, and then we can maybe schedule another session with some of the other speakers as we're getting closer to the admission time, which will be December. So keep an eye for more updates, keep an eye for the news. If you have any questions, you can email it to us. We'll be happy to answer. And I hope this event gave you a little bit of an insight and showcased you our most our proudest achievements so far, our strengths of our program, and gave you an understanding of who we are. So once again, thank you. My name was Daria. I was happy to be here with you, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you.